Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The UN's atomic watchdog has warned a new drone attack on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant has raised the risk of a major nuclear accident. Russia said Ukraine was behind the attack, which it said injured 3 people. Ukraine has denied involvement. The giant Russian-held nuclear plant with 6 reactors is on the front line of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Separately, the city's governor said Russia fired 5 missiles on the city itself, killing at least 4 people, injuring 20 and damaging residential buildings and industrial facilities. Israel's military says that it has reduced the number of soldiers from southern Gaza, leaving just 1 brigade in the area. The military stressed a significant force would remain in Gaza. The pullout is being interpreted as tactical rather than a sign the war may be moving closer to its end. Israel and Hamas have also sent delegations to Cairo to join fresh ceasefire negotiations. It comes a day after the 6-month anniversary of the 7th of October attacks, which killed 1,200 people, with more than 250 taken hostage. Local authorities say more than 90 people have died after a ferry sank off the north coast of Mozambique. Officials in Nampula province said 5 people had been rescued of the around 130 believed to have been on board. It's thought they were fleeing a cholera outbreak and that many children were among the dead. Unverified video posted on social media purported to show dozens of bodies lying on a beach. The boat was apparently travelling from Lunga to Mozambique Island off the coast of Nampula. Mexico has welcomed the return of its Ecuador embassy personnel 2 days after police raided the facility in an act that triggered an abrupt diplomatic break. The arrests provoked global shock and condemnation. Ecuadorian police and soldiers forced their way into Mexico's embassy in Quito to arrest former Vice President Jorge Glass, who had for months taken refuge there after Mexican officials offered him formal asylum protection earlier in the day. Residents in Copenhagen's famous hippie enclave Christiania began digging up its main street known for its cannabis trade, hoping to free the area of criminal gangs following multiple deadly shootings. Freetown Christiania has developed into a major tourist attraction with more than 500,000 visitors a year, but an increase in gang violence linked to drug trafficking in the area has concerned both residents and authorities. After tolerating the illegal sale of cannabis for more than 50 years in the former army barracks claimed by hippies during the 1970s, authorities and the residents of Christiania decided this year to dig up what is known to locals as Pusher Street. The Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg has been arrested by Dutch police at a protest in The Hague. The 21-year-old joined hundreds of protesters in a march against fossil fuel subsidies. You are not alone! You are not alone! The protest developed into a standoff as dozens of police officers, some on horseback, attempted to stop protesters from blocking a main road. Local police put Ms. Thunberg on a bus full of demonstrators and she was driven away from the scene. Protesters had planned to block The Hague's A12 highway for what Extinction Rebellion organisers say was the 37th time. And a British man nicknamed Hardest Geezer has completed his challenge of running the entire length of Africa. Russ Cook arrived in Tunisia's Ras Angela after running more than 10,000 miles on a charity run that took him through 16 countries.
My name's Russ Cook and I'm attempting to become the first person ever to run the entire length of Africa.
The British runner started his journey in South Africa's Cape Angulas and has raised more than £600,000 for charity. The run saw him and his team robbed at gunpoint, held by machete-wielding villagers, numerous health scares and visa issues. Before he set off on the mammoth challenge to run the entire length of Africa, he said he hoped to look back at his life and have no regrets. The 27-year-old said he had struggled with his mental health, gambling and drinking, and wanted to make a difference.
It's 352 days on the road. It's building, it's constant, and there is no let off. So, yeah, it's amazing to finally finish.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.